So I was driving home from work today, and I found myself thinking about why it feels so hard to build wealth, to get in shape, or to find a real sense of purpose in life. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I kept coming back to the same answer in my head, and that is the lack of discipline in today's society. It feels like discipline is becoming a rare thing these days, and without it, everything just ends up feeling way harder than it actually needs to be. Now, this is just my opinion, so let me know in the comments if you agree or you think I've completely lost my mind here. But it seems like a lot of young people are just drifting through life on autopilot and living life like an NPC. One of the thoughts that keeps me up at night is imagining myself waking up one day, let's say at 60 years old, and wondering where all the time in my life went. Then I picture some young kid asking me on the street, "What's something you're proud of, old man? How would you describe yourself? What makes you different?" And honestly, I think a lot of people would struggle to answer those questions right away. To be fair, I am still struggling to answer these questions too. It wasn't until the last few months that I really started to understand what I wanted my life to stand for. And I see so many young men wrestling with the same questions today. And I don't know if this is just me, but I'm sensing that there is just a lot of stress in men's lives today. That's kind of why I wanted to make this video, and this idea just kind of popped in my head as I was coming home from work. In this video, I want to talk about how all three of these concepts are tied together, and why discipline sits at the center of all of them, and how consistently looking for shortcuts can really hold you back from becoming the person you want to be. Now, the reason I think finances, fitness, and purpose are all so connected is because they all require the exact same thing. You have to put in the work day in and day out over a long period of time and have an incredible amount of discipline. There are just no shortcuts to obtaining greatness in these three aspects of life. So, guys, let's be real here. It has never been easier in human history to stand out through discipline. That is my hot take. You could take wealth building, for example. Deep down, most people really know the formula. You invest consistently, you let compounding growth do its thing, and you give it time. It is not complicated whatsoever. Instead, people are constantly being sold shortcuts. All these get rich quick schemes, sports betting, day trading, options trading, which for many people, options trading and day trading are literally just another form of gambling. Everybody wants to fast track and nobody wants to wait. But if you actually want to stand out financially, you have to be willing to do the opposite of what most people are doing and the opposite of what's being sold to you by the common culture. You have to be willing to put in small amounts of effort consistently for years and trust that those actions will eventually produce extraordinary results. What's funny is that people will look at you while you're building wealth and think that your approach is lame, and they're going to tell you that it sucks and that, oh, these people don't have time to wait around. Life's too short, man. I hear this all the time, and I'm sure you'll hear it too eventually if you're a long term investor. I just think it's hilarious because these are the same people that try to hit home runs, let's say betting on SpaceX's IPOs and putting options on all that stuff, and they just put so much money into different individual stocks. When most people can barely even understand a company's statements and how to read it and actually know what they're investing in. Then, 10 years later, when you've built a $500,000 investment portfolio, people are going to run to you and ask, "Bro, how'd you get rich so fast?" And the irony is that you literally did not get rich fast at all. You just did something that has become incredibly rare in today's society. You are patient and you have discipline. This is what I'm trying to preach on my channel and get this message spread to all you guys watching. We've become so conditioned to just look for shortcuts. And now we can't even recognize long term success, even if it hit us in the face. This always gets to me too, man. So, like a few weeks ago, I was watching the NBA Finals, and it's only going to get worse once football season starts. But every commercial break just seems to be another gambling ad. You've got Kevin Hart telling you what parlay to bet on because it's the lock of the century. Your favorite influencer has a betting code or betting promo. Young men are constantly being told that the path to wealth is to get lucky rather than being disciplined. And honestly, that is just sad to see, man. Because while everyone else is searching for the shortcut, the disciplined man is building a sustainable future. The disciplined man is making decisions that won't pay off tomorrow, but will pay off decades from now. That is why I believe having discipline with your finances carries such a massive advantage today. The bar for this is just so much lower than people realize. You don't have to be a genius at all. You just need enough discipline to keep doing the right things long after the initial rush of all this excitement wears off, and you have to block out the distractions. And in a world where most people are constantly chasing the next shortcut, the next quick hit of dopamine, even a small amount of discipline can really separate yourself from the pack. So, what is this going to look like for me? Right now, it looks like setting aside a certain percentage of my paycheck each month to invest, automating my investments, and then also setting aside a certain percentage of my paycheck to dedicated sinking funds in my high yield savings accounts for all the cash savings in the near future I talked to you guys about a few videos ago. And after I take care of my financial future, then I worry about how I'm going to spend my money in the present. So figure out what that looks like for you and apply it to your life. And I spent a lot of time talking about the financial side of being a disciplined man. I'm going to keep it short here for these next two talking points, but I want to hit next on fitness and purpose. Because with fitness, I think the exact same thing is happening here. Just like people are looking for shortcuts to building wealth, people are especially looking for shortcuts to get in shape. Everybody wants a six pack right away. Everybody wants bigger arms, the toned shoulders, the chiseled physique. But very few people are willing to embrace and be a part of the grueling process required to get that dream physique. We live in a world where people can pull out their phone and instantly just find any weight loss pill, some magic supplement. And again, this is like what I was telling y'all about the gambling commercials. You just see these crazy commercials for all these fat loss pills that are just popping up out of nowhere all the time now. It is ridiculous. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you got dudes just hopping on gear and steroids after lifting for 6 months because they want to look as jacked as possible, and nobody wants to hear the real answer as to how you build a sustainable physique. The real answer is boring. You lift weights consistently, you diet consistently, you prioritize your lifting, you prioritize your cardio, you get enough sleep, and you repeat that process for years and years. I can promise you that nobody wants to hear that it's going to take 2 or 3 years of consistent training before you start to build any sort of physique that you're envisioning in your head. Nobody wants to hear that fat loss is mostly going to come from controlling what goes into your mouth every day. Pause. But people nowadays want the shortcut because the shortcut just feels easier. Just like with the money, the shortcut almost always comes with a cost. What's interesting to me is that fitness teaches you lessons that just seem to carry over in every other area of your life too. I'm telling you, the gym does not care about your million excuses. Oh, I'm tired from sitting at my 9 to 5 all day under fluorescent lighting and I don't have the energy to go to the gym today. Or this one's good. Oh, I ate like crap today because at the work function, it was Johnny's last day, so we all pigged out on pizza. Those excuses just aren't going to work, man, if you want these extraordinary results. You either got to put in the work or you don't put in the work. I know that I'm throwing out some examples here, but it's just really rare to find people today with the discipline to stay at this for years and really take good care of their body. I'm working on this right now, and it is not easy. I've been lifting weights for 6 years, but for a long time, I was not caring about my nutrition. So I was literally just net zero. I was putting in all this work at the gym, but since I wasn't caring about my nutrition, I wasn't making any progress. So I decided about a month ago that I'm done and I'm going to start taking my nutrition seriously and actually pushing myself and making myself a disciplined man. And once you've proven that you can be a disciplined person, then yeah, these one off pizza parties aren't going to hurt you in the long run. But just look around. Nobody has discipline. Literally, it's never been easier to stand out and have, let's say, a top 5% physique if you take care of your body. Everyone is so out of shape and it is becoming grossly normalized. The truth is, too, that most people already know what they need to do. Most people don't need another supplement. Most people don't need these fitness hacks. Literally, most people just need to do the boring things like show up in the gym and actually diet appropriately. That's why I believe fitness is one of the greatest teachers of discipline, because it's so funny. Your body reflects the habits that you've practiced day in and day out. And if you're willing to embrace and really take care of your body and your fitness, you are going to separate yourself so much from the people who are just looking for the easy way out. Anybody who takes the easy way out is just going to fall back to their undisciplined habits. So that's enough with that fitness section. But finally, here, I want to talk about the purpose because I think this is just also where a lot of young men are struggling, especially in today's society. There are just so many men waking up every day, including me, literally just earlier this year. And again, I'm making this video because all three of these things have happened to me. But there's people that are just going to work, coming home, scrolling their phones for a few hours, going to bed, and then repeating this exact same cycle day after day. It's absolutely mind numbing. Weeks will turn into months doing this, months will turn into years, And then eventually, we're all waking up wondering why we feel so empty inside. And then it just feels like we're selling our soul to the corporate machine. And I think part of the problem is that finding your purpose as a man requires the same level of discipline as it does for building long term wealth and building an awesome physique. It's easy to sit at home by yourself and isolate yourself. It's really easy to spend every day chasing whatever distraction helps you avoid asking the harder questions and pushing yourself in life. That's why I want my YouTube videos to be productive for those of you watching, so that you can get something out of this and not just be useless brain rot content that you're consuming. Finding purpose often requires doing things that are uncomfortable. It means putting yourself out there and finding a community of people who challenge you to become better. It means surrounding yourself with productive, positive men who have high standards, who have high goals, and high expectations for themselves. It means surrounding yourself with people who want to level up their life rather than people who encourage you to continue the deviant behaviors that are so common in our culture, such as gambling, not caring about your nutrition, coasting through life with no higher purpose to strive for. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And what does this look like for me? Well, purpose for me is going to come through building a family, being a provider, being strong in my faith. Let's be real here. Whether you're religious or not, it's hard to ignore the fact that a lot of people are searching for meaning, especially when you hear all on the news that it's just doom and gloom out there. The reason I bring this up is that purpose doesn't just happen to you. You have to actively seek it out and be disciplined about building your purpose. You have to spend time thinking about the type of man you want to become. You got to ask yourself questions and figure out what values you stand for. What do you want people to say about you when you're gone? These are not comfortable questions that you could just ask yourself falling asleep, but they're important questions that the disciplined man is going to figure out eventually. I found this to be true with me, but when I lack purpose, I seem to become extra vulnerable to every vice that society could throw at me. I think that if you don't have a mission, distractions can become your mission. If you don't have standards, these temptations are going to become your standards. And if you don't have something meaningful to pursue, you'll eventually find yourself pursuing things that make you weaker instead of stronger as a man. So, let's tie all this together with the 2 points that I talked about earlier. Your finances improve because you have a long term disciplined approach to building wealth. Your fitness improves because you show up year after year, whether that's lifting weights, doing cardio, and you take care of your nutrition and you don't just shove whatever you want in your face, and you can actually control your dieting and your portions. It's hard, guys, to have discipline over a long period of time, but it's really not hard to separate yourself from the pack and stand out in 2026 if you're willing to put in this work. And here's something too. I want to leave you with some homework from this video because information without action is completely useless. You can watch these videos all day long and consume self improvement content until your eyes bleed, but none of it matters if you don't actually apply it. So here's my challenge to you guys watching. For the next 30 days, I want you to pick up one action in each of these three areas that we talked about today: finances, fitness, and purpose. For finances, maybe it's automatically investing $100 every paycheck. Maybe it's creating a budget. Maybe it's building your first emergency fund. It doesn't matter how small it is, just pick up something and commit to it. For fitness, maybe it's going to the gym 3 times per week. Maybe it's walking 10,000 steps a day. Maybe it's sticking to a daily caloric intake and sticking to that for a month to see how much fat you can lose. The goal is building consistent habits in all these aspects. And last but not least, for purpose, I want you to do something that gets you closer to becoming the man that you want to be. Reach out to some new people that you want to be like. Attend a church service if you're looking for religion in your life. Spend less time scrolling and more time thinking about the direction that you want your life to go. Then do all three of these things every single week for the next month. So that's my challenge to you guys. Just pick up one habit for your finances, one habit for your fitness, and one habit for your purpose. If you can commit to them for the next 30 days, I guarantee you're going to start to see some changes, and that momentum will hopefully help you become a more disciplined version of yourself. And when you're done watching this video, drop a comment down below and tell me which of these three areas you're struggling with the most right now. Is it finances, fitness, or purpose? Or is it a combination of all three? I genuinely love to hear where you guys are at because I think a lot more people are fighting the same battles and you are not alone, brother. As always, thanks for watching and I'll catch everyone in the next one. Peace.